Hey everybody, welcome to Do You Believe on Paranormal Zone TV. Happy New Year to everyone, and thanks so much for joining us tonight. It's a pleasure to see you all back from my short vacation that I took, and you're always welcome back on the show, and I love being back. We have a great lineup coming up in shows, and I can't wait to present them to you. And tonight, and please, for those who are new to the show, if you would please subscribe, I'd appreciate it. And please don't forget to give the show a like. Now, my guest tonight is Rick Waid. Rick Waid is a seer, a visionary channeler, a remote viewer, and there's his website. I'm showing you his website there. He does readings, and you can contact him. You can contact him on his website. And Rick has written 2 books: My Paranormal Journey, A One Man's Obsession. Hold on for a second, everybody. And okay, he just got disconnected. So hold on, everyone. Are you there?
I'm back.
Okay. All right, let's welcome Rick to the show. Hey, Rick, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And now, Rick, I was very interested in having you on the show because you have so many things going on. You're an author. You're a seer. You're a remote viewer, a channeler, and a past life reader. I'm really interested in a seer. Can you tell us what that is?
Well, basically what a seer is a seer can actually they can actually see, to me it's almost like, hang on a second here, what's going on here?
Rick's new to Skype.
Good guy, but it seems like I'm having issues with Skype, but I knew this was happening at the beginning. I knew we'd have issues. But anyway, so basically a seer can kind of see through other people's eyes. That's basically what it is. So if I'm looking at through a past loved one, I can actually see through their eyes, how they viewed life. Or if I'm seeing through a past life, I can see through their eyes how they actually lived their life. Or if I'm seeing, let's say, for instance, a missing person, I can actually see through their eyes and see through the person that actually took them. So
no way.
Actually, yeah, I can see in almost everybody's eyes. So, like say a detective on a case, I can actually see through that person's eyes. So it's almost like I'm looking through everybody's eyes. That's what a seer can do. Connect with all energies as part of the situation.
So it's also a visionary, isn't it?
Yes, I get audio and visions, so I can actually see, connect, and just same as remote viewing. It's almost like people can walk into a haunted house and I can visibly look through their eyes and see things.
Okay, so with you having that gift, how do you think you got that gift?
Well, my mom was a reader, and she used to read the coffee grounds in a coffee cup. So she had the ability to see future, past, and present too. So I feel that it came through my Cherokee background, because I have Cherokee Indian. So,
wow.
Through the Cherokee, because my uncle was able to heal people. My sister, she can actually hold objects to her forehead and see where the object has been. And then my brother can actually read spoons. He would read candles, the lights in the candles, in the spoons, the light flickering in the spoons. And you can actually connect with people's energy too that way. So that's basically what it is. So we all have it in our family, and it just took me about 30 some years to actually figure it out. I had to get into paranormal before it actually hit me, before I started really understanding my true gifts.
Is that a hindrance for you at all? Like when you go to the grocery store and you see people, have you ever been in contact with, say, a killer? That that they killed somebody in a store or any location that you might be?
Well, let me explain something to you.
Okay.
When I first started doing this, everything was coming to me. I had a job. Actually, I still do the same kind of job. I would go into different people's homes every day and actually measure things in their house. And I was getting sick. I was feeling drained, exhausted. I didn't understand it. I was allowing all these energies to come and mess with me. So it got to the point where I was making too many mistakes on my job, and I had to actually, tell the spirits, don't bother me while I'm. Son, I'm on the. Please. Are you using both? Yes. Love you. Sorry, my son. He's naughty. Anyways, basically, what was happening is, it was all coming at me at once, and it was draining me, and I was making mistakes. And my wife said, "You need to figure this out and stop this." So I just explained to the spirits that are around, the energies, and said, "Don't bother me whenever I'm at work." So it got to the point where they just actually left me alone all the time. So they only connect with me whenever I ask them to actually be part of my day. That's the only time. I can go to a grocery store, never connect with anybody. But if a person comes up to me and says, "Can you please connect with my father?" then I can connect. Then I will actually make an effort. I don't actually invade anybody's privacy, ever. I don't ever look into anybody whenever I'm out there in the world. And that's a positive thing.
Wow. So you have the gift and you go to different locations. And so what happens when you're also a paranormal investigator?
Yeah, I've done that a few times. Yes.
So what would happen when you would do a paranormal investigation with that gift?
Well, I do EVPs too. I'm really good with EVPs. So I've been, that's in my first book. I talk about the EVP addiction, where I almost lost my job and family over it. But yeah, I do EVPs too. EVPs and my gift kind of fight together. That's exactly what they do. So it's either I give my full attention to EVPs or I give my full attention to my gift. So usually I could walk into a place and I don't even need to do the recorder, but the recorders are great to have around because it really opens people's eyes because they can hear the voices.
All right. So with you doing that EVP session, do you really believe that you are connecting with that person?
What, the energies that are around there? Yes, definitely. Because we ask direct questions and we get direct answers. So
okay,
yeah, definitely.
So in the paranormal, with all the interviews that I've done, everybody says something different. Some believe that there are tricksters on the other end giving you those answers, possibly demonic or negative energies that are pretending to be a so-called loved one or that spirit that you're trying to communicate with. What is your feeling on that?
A lot of people, honestly, whenever I was doing the EVPs, I was having some serious issues. I was having bad luck. I got pulled over in 1 year 20 times by the police. In one day, pulled over 3 times by different police, by sheriff, by a city and a state cop. So there was something going on with me. Definitely was when I was messing with the EVPs. I believe that. And it got to a point where, I feel, there's a story in my book where this gentleman pulls me out of a ditch where I was in. And I said, "There's no way you can do this." And he said, "Yes, I can." And then he hands me a brochure and says, "Stop doing what you're doing." And it was a brochure about God. And
Really?
that's whenever I stopped doing EVPs and I decided to just use a recorder just to try to see the future, if I could see the future. And that's where my EVP obsession stopped, and then my actual ability to see started happening. And I started seeing green Bibles for the last 30 days to get me unhooked from that recorder because I was so obsessed with it. It was with me 24/7. So I actually kept seeing these green Bibles, and that was God telling me, "Hey, maybe you should stop doing these EVPs, and maybe I'm going to give you something else to put your energy in." And that's exactly what happened. I started seeing things on my daily route. I could see future things. I could name 10 things, and by George, they would all be shown to me. So it was pretty amazing, and that was actually more exciting than the EVPs because when I first started EVPs, it was just random stuff. And then it started getting direct connects where it actually was directly connected to the past loved one or to the building or something. So I think the negative energies were slowly disappearing, and my bright light was bringing in positive energy on the EVPs.
All right, so then your answer to that would be with what you do, you were connecting with the actual person that you were trying to connect with, not a negative or a demonic entity.
Yeah, I feel definitely, because I was getting too much direct information from their loved ones. And they can say that, they can say all they want about that, but I live in a positive place, and I feel any EVPs coming through is from a positive place. I don't feel there's a negative place.
But do you think with other paranormal investigators, they are getting the real deal, or do you think that they're really not the real person they're connecting with, but a negative energy?
Well, there's the thing is that with EVPs, a lot of people have, I think a lot of people with EVPs, I think EVPs are kind of made to where you can hear what you want to hear. And if you believe something, you're going to hear it. And I think that's the case. And I've actually tested this with a lot of people. I would actually do an EVP and have 10 people come on and tell me what they actually heard. Only like 1 out of 10 would actually hear what I heard, which is interesting. But and as I did more research, those people that were very gifted actually was hearing the same thing I was hearing, which is kind of, it made me think about it, But I think honestly that I think people can bring in negative energy on those EVPs. I think they can if they're actually living a negative life, or you know what I mean. I think if you're living a negative life, you can bring in negativity. But if you're living a positive life, I think negativity is going to stay away from you.
There was another question I was interested in asking you, and that's about how everybody is using these ghost box and ghost apps, and they are getting intelligent responses. How do you feel about that?
I myself, honestly, I don't really get into any of those because I really don't need those. I do the EVP just to do it, to let people see and understand that they actually can connect with the recorder. But I just use my gift. So, but honestly, the ghost boxes they're just too noisy, too loud, too many random things coming in there. So I don't really get into them that much. I've seen some people get some great stuff, and I actually recorded an actual ghost box with my audio recorder, and I got 100 EVPs out the ghost box, and they never even heard anything out the ghost box. So I think ghost boxes can be used in a good way, but I think a lot of people just really blew them up too much, and it's the same thing with the EVP. A lot of times you hear what you hear, I think.
Now, with that gift that you have you ever been visited or attacked or whatever from a negative energy?
I think a lot of this is knowledge. People don't understand things. I think a lot of energies out there just want to communicate with you. If you get touched, doesn't mean it's an evil entity. If you get your hair messed with, doesn't mean it's negative. It can be a positive thing. A lot of people just run to demon or negative energy. And really, a lot of times whenever I was doing my research at the beginning of my first book, I would walk into a house with my EVP recorder, with my recorder, and I would instantly get the actual loved one upset because I came in his house, because he's still there. He's still living his life the way he lived it. So, this strange guy's coming in his house. Of course he's going to be angry. He's going to be mad that I'm coming in his house. I feel that's what it is. People think that's an evil or mean or negative, and actually that's just a person, how they were living their life whenever they were alive.
Well, with these visions that you get when you go into these haunted locations, have they tried to ever, and you say that they're mad at you, have you ever been attacked by one?
No. I've seen other people have handprints on their backs and stuff, but I've never really been attacked. No. And that's another thing. I hear a lot of people getting tossed, getting picked up, thrown and stuff. I've never had that happen. So, and a lot of people say there's demons out there and stuff. I've never actually never encountered anything bad like that. So, and I think, and the reason why I think that is because I have a lot of light around me. A lot of people tell me that I have an actual crack in my actual aura, and then that shines up a brighter light. And that's why, that's exactly how, whenever I walk into schools or wherever I walk into a person's home, they light up. It's like their energy is like awakens whenever I come around them because I have this positive thing around me. And even the little kids, whenever I go places, I'm telling you, kids are constantly staring at me. They're watching, they're smiling at me. I go into some people's house and little babies, like 2-year-olds, and say, he's a good man. He's a good man. So it's interesting to have that happening all the time with me.
Wow. So with this gift as a seer, what do you do with it?
Well, basically, I work a lot of hours right now. So, but basically, like I do readings for people. of a police department or something that, if I see something on the internet, like a missing person or something, I'll offer information to them and stuff. But basically, I just connect with either past loved ones, or I connect with people's energy, or I connect with past lives. So basically, I use that gift to help people, and help people to understand things, because honestly, I give a lot of direct connect information. And what that means is, like, say, for instance, let's say a person lost her mother, and she died, of a heart attack. I will actually connect with that. I will actually feel that, she had a heart and she died from a heart attack. I'll pick up direct connect information about her, or I'll pick up certain things about her, like, maybe her right eye drooped all the time, or, like in some cases, maybe they lost an arm. I'll say, well, I feel like I've lost my right arm. And honestly, that's what happened. They lost their right arm in a car wreck. So those are direct connect information, and that's exactly what I give them. And it kind of wakes them up, because, I shouldn't know anything about that person.
Oh, interesting. Now, because of that visionary, that's what you use. You don't use your remote viewing then when you help the police department out. Can you tell us about your experience with the police department locating missing people?
Well, it's pretty simple here. Whenever I first started, I started out with the recorder, and what I was doing was actually contacting missing people's family members. That's what I was doing. In my first book, I started at the end of my first book connecting with family members that were their loved ones were missing. I would contact them, call them, and say, "Listen, my name is Rick, and this is what I do. I have a recorder, and I go around the area where they're missing, and I get voices that come through and actually give me information." So I did that with a gentleman here in right where I live, out here outside of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I went to the house where he was actually taken, and I got like 100 EVPs, and all the EVPs made perfect sense to the brother on the case. And then I worked with that case for a few years. Let me give you this something straight here. Honestly, I have not actually went out and found a body. Okay, I have not went out and went down on 76 and James Street and found a body in the woods. No, I've never done that. But I've given information to actually tell where the body would be found. And then they would show up later on, after they would do the news show, and they would show certain things. Like, for instance, I did a case with a young lady down south that actually went missing, and I said, you're going to see a big cross and two crosses that's going to be shown, and she's going to be out to the right-hand side. Well, whenever they found her, and actually the killer actually told where she was, but the image that's on the screen for all the news for all around was the big cross and the two little crosses. So see, I had exactly where she was at, but I didn't know where she was at, because I didn't get all that information. I could only get exactly, the road that you go down if you go to the right, and there's 3 crosses. And that's exactly what it was. But, but it's still interesting to get all that information, direct connect information about, and I got so much more stuff, and that's in my second book about them. It's amazing the information that comes through. And I actually had an professor tell me that, he's met a lot of people in his life, but he's never, ever met a reader like me, because I give him so much information that connects with not only him, connects with the case, connects with the loved ones, connects with the police department. I mean, it's just amazing, all the information, because he has it all right in front of him. He has the information in front of him, and it's like I'm telling the whole story. I've never even knew the person, or the family, or the police department. So it's interesting.
Now, did you tell me earlier you had an interesting case that you wanted to tell the viewers about?
Yeah, definitely. I was getting into missing persons, and I said to myself, why not try to help a child? So I got on the internet, and I just looked up missing children, and I connected with this one lady, and she said, well, here's a young boy. She showed me a picture of him, said, tell me what you pick up. So I offered a whole bunch of stuff, just tons of stuff. And I would do this from like 9 o'clock to midnight for this lady, 3 hours a night. I would just offer whatever came to me. And then the next day she would come back at like 5 in the morning and just give me all the information that made sense or connected. And I'm telling you, I was picking up exactly where the kid was taken, some very interesting stuff. And then they actually, later on, after I was doing the readings, they actually took the police team, the SWAT team, and actually went to this house where I was describing. And she sent me back a picture of the house and the surroundings. And I'm telling you, I had everything down to a T. Everything about the house. And this was actually this was over in like in Africa or Asia or something. I can't remember exactly. I think it was in Asia, or India. It was in India. And it's just amazing the information I was given. And she was just blown away. Well, one thing about this, though, was interesting was I kept seeing this lady that actually had some bones in a little cup. And she would rattle these bones and throw them on the ground. And I told she was actually connected with the police station. And I told her about that. And she told me to instantly stop reading this case. So I said, really? I said, why? She said, because it was like, she's like a voodoo doctor or something overseas. And she was actually reading me as I'm reading her. So it scared her. So I went in to give my son a kiss goodnight. And then I heard this whisper in my ear, this foreign language in my ear, before I kissed him. And then within 15, 20 minutes later, he was sick as a dog, running to the bathroom. Very sick for a few days. And then I told her what happened to my son. And she said, just back out for a couple weeks. So I backed out for a couple weeks. And then I started helping her again. And then all of a sudden, I went to kiss my son goodnight again, and he got deathly sick again. So I feel that this witch doctor or whatever she was was actually putting a spell on my son, picking on him because he was younger and weaker. And it was crazy. But it was as soon as I started working on that case again, he got sick as a dog again. So she told me just to stop. So I actually stopped working on that case completely and actually disconnected with her too.
Wow.
So that's in my second book. So it's interesting.
Now, because of your gift, has anybody contacted you to solve unsolved mysterious cases? Like one of the viewers asked about the Black Dahlia, and other murder cases like that?
You know, honestly, I could connect with all those cases. I'm almost 100% positive I could. Nobody's ever came to me. I'm actually a small person on the internet and stuff. I'm only on Facebook. You know, I don't go to any news stations or anything. I kind of do that to protect my family because of where I live. You know, being a seer, a lot of people think that's a bad thing, especially in the religious world. They think a seer there's not supposed to be any seers. That's a negative thing, and it's hard for me. So I kind of keep it quiet and just help where I need to help. Because I just don't want any issues with my family. Because whenever I first started my paranormal journey, my son was getting teased, he was getting picked on, he was a straight A student, dropping down to D's, and having a rough time. So, you know, I mean, kids can be cruel, and families and parents can be cruel. So, you know, I just kind of keep it quiet. Nobody even knows in my town who I am.
Okay, well, you know what? I would love to air a couple of shows with you on some famous cases. And would you be able to, I don't know if you remote view or you use your Seer?
As soon as you ask me, I start connecting.
Oh my God. Okay, viewers, you heard that. Rick, you are coming back on the show. Oh my God.
And don't tell me the case beforehand. Just let me go on there and just hit it, and I'll just read my behind out.
Okay.
And it comes to me instantly. So you'll be surprised how fast this stuff comes and how quickly it connects.
Oh my God. We love you. Oh my God, the viewers, we love you. Okay, you're coming back, Rick. I can't wait.
Appreciate it.
Okay, now the channeling. I saw you on a YouTube channel, and you were channeling this person. How is that done? Now you have so many abilities. How you can channel now? What is that all about?
Well, the thing is, you know, when you're a seer, you can almost do, you know, it almost feels like some people call me a psychic, some people call me a medium, some people call me a seer. You know, the thing is, I feel that, you know, I can do almost anything if it's presented to me. It's just given the opportunity, it's just like my mind instantly connects. My energy instantly connects with that. And then just like with the past lives and everything, it's just like it instantly, boom, boom, boom. It just starts coming to me like water pouring on top of me. Excuse me. Should drink Dr. Pepper during an interview. But anyways, yeah, definitely, that's exactly how it is. And I don't know, it's just like even with loved ones. Okay, let me explain something about loved ones. How I do my readings. Like say your grandma passed away. Okay, and your grandma just loved making these beautiful quilts. Okay, so that's what I will be seeing. I'm seeing grandma making these beautiful quilts. I'm seeing stuff that grandma used to do, like special things she used to do, like say for instance, she used to love to have a beautiful a bed of roses in her backyard. You know what I mean? Like she would go out there and she would clip these roses. I'm actually seeing her life, how she lived it whenever she was alive. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing everything that she used to do. Like for instance, I might see her husband. What he looks like. Or like special times they used to do together or go to places. Like for instance, I did a reading for a friend of mine, and she wanted me to read her husband. And all of a sudden, it's a really interesting story. I'll have to let you know this is an interesting story, but do we have time?
Oh, yes, please.
Very interesting story. So I was on a radio show. I was doing my first reading, and live reading, and I've never done before on a radio show. And this young lady comes on, and she said, well, my name's this, and, can you connect with, with my husband? So, I gave her a few things. I keep seeing somebody racing. I keep seeing somebody, he had a heart attack, and he worked in a pizza place or a pizzeria or something, And that's exactly what her husband did. He was actually worked with the pizza place, and he actually was a runner, and he actually had a heart attack and died. So she ends up getting back with me, and I said, well, if you want me to look more, I'll look more, So she sent me a picture of him, and I started reading him, and I said, well, I feel that I see you on top of a cliff with him, and you're looking down. I could see this, and I'm hearing this song, which is really weird because that was her wedding song. And actually, they were on top of a cliff during their honeymoon, looking down at the water. So it's like I'm seeing their life, how it exactly was through his eyes, is what I'm connecting with. And then I was given so much information. Well, then all of a sudden she says to me, Rick, I can't believe all this stuff you give me. Everything is so direct. And that's actually in my second book. If you want to read it, it's a long one, but it's in my second book.
Okay, now which book is that? I've got both of your books up here.
Awakening of a Seer.
Okay.
It's a testimony in the back of the book.
Okay.
That you can actually read about this actual reading. But what's interesting is he said, you look familiar. I'm like, okay. She said, I used to know a Rick. My sister used to date a Rick that looked just like you. And then I said, what's your sister's name? She said, Dawn. I said, Dawn? I said, Dawn Brown? She said, yeah. I said, oh, wow. Hold it. I said, yeah. You do know me. I used to date your sister. And how funny is that? And this woman says she's been all over the world, traveled in different countries, and all of a sudden she's never caught a psychic show, and she calls on this one show and connects with me. How amazing is that? What a great story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I actually took care of her as a child. Isn't that amazing?
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it's a beautiful story. Beautiful.
Now what? Go ahead, honey. Did you have? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I did. I just said it touched my heart. This is amazing.
Oh. Now, what about remote viewing? Now, I was told that anybody can remote view. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm actually teaching a class right now to do remote viewing, and I'm telling you what, it's really hard. It's really hard for people, but I think there's a process. And honestly, I actually would stand back and do a live video and say, what am I looking at? And there is, I think if you get to a certain part in your spirituality, you're able to remote view instantly. And I can see that in my class. Some people that actually were not at that level, but some people were at that level, and they were connecting exactly. I had a picture of an actual lady with a hat and 3 cats and a dog, and they were picking up the lady with the hat and the 3 cats and a dog. Now, see, that to me is remote viewing too, because you're actually seeing something that you're not supposed to see in a different place. So that's remote viewing too. But what I used to do is, I used to do this with people back on other reading forums. I would say, listen, go to your house. I mean, let's say you're in your living room. Take 3 objects and put it on your actual table. I want you to concentrate. I will start reading you at 10:30, but at 10:20, I want you to concentrate on the three objects. And then I'm going to see if I can remote view them. And I used to do this on these forums. And I would say, okay, so this is what I'm seeing. And pretty soon, I was getting one or two or even three things exactly. So, and that's exactly what it is. It's almost like, we're giving each other. I'm connecting with her thoughts, and she's connecting with my thoughts. She's giving it to me, and I'm taking it. And that's exactly what it was. I was getting sometimes exactly. And even in my last training show, I put an actual owl back there with big orange eyes.
Really?
And I'd be dark. This young lady, a friend of mine, Lori, came on and she said, wow. She said, I see an owl with big orange eyes. How amazing. How amazing. See, it can happen. So people can't do it. I think you just got to be able to practice and actually believe in yourself. A lot of people don't believe in themselves.
Now, when you see people on television that have killed people, do you try to tune into them to see what they're all... are you curious about these people that kill other people? Are you curious as to, did they really do it? Is there something wrong with them? Did they kill more than one person? Does that ever spark your interest when you see these people?
Well, I actually, in my second book, I talk about, I think I read a serial killer. And because of the actual reading, I was like 90% reading people on this website, and this gentleman came on and told me, he said, you don't want to read me. You don't want to. And I told him, I said, well, I'll read anybody, So I got on there and I started reading them, and I saw him in the kitchen, and I saw him cooking something on a stove. And as I looked closer and looked closer, I could see it was blood. So he's actually making soup for himself to actually eat. And I posted all this stuff on the website, and he instantly left. Never seen him again. So it makes me wonder, and I think that, serial killers are interested in people like me. And they're interested in people that actually can see. Because they, I think that some of the serial killers might have that ability to see things too. You know what I mean? Definitely.
Wow. Oh, God, we definitely have to do a show together. Okay, so what else would you like to touch on? I know that you help a lot of people. And what about this past life reader? What is that all about?
Well, it's interesting. I was doing remote viewing readings on Unexplained Mysteries as a forum. And then all of a sudden, this young lady came on and she wanted me to read her past lives. She's been having this horrible, horrible pain in her neck. She couldn't figure out what was going on with her, and terrible headaches. So I said, well, I'm going to try it. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying myself. I'm seeing things. Just having fun. So I did a reading on her, and I said, I see you back in the 1800s. I see you being chased by the Indians, and I see you're on a wagon, and you fall off the wagon and you break your neck. Now, before she even told me about the neck pain and the headaches, I'm giving her this information. And I said to her, well, are you having a lot of stiff necks and you have a lot of headaches? And then she came back, she said she went to 9 doctors and paid a lot of money, and nobody could figure out what was wrong with her, why she had a stiff neck and a headache. And she said after I gave her that information, it made sense to her. And it kind of was a healing thing for her, because the headaches and the neck pain went away. So it's amazing what you can offer with a past life to somebody that's actually reliving that past life. And if you give them that information about their past life, and then it kind of heals them, and it kind of helps them to understand why they are who they are.
Mm-hmm. Can you see an illness in someone? If, say, you meet somebody for the first time, or maybe even a family member or a relative, and you're at a gathering or a family dinner, can you pick up on anything in your group that you are with that they might have a serious illness and they need to take care of it?
I think somebody turned on my furnace. Shame on them. Let me shut the door real quick.
All right.
Sorry.
Thanks, everyone, for being here tonight. So glad to have you all back.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay.
I want to turn that down a little bit. No, basically, like I told you at the beginning of the interview, I don't connect with anybody unless they come to me and actually want to connect. Like I said, I could be in a crowd of people and won't look at it. But when I do readings, I see things. I feel things. I have this ability, it's called scan. I scan people's bodies. And what I'll do is I'll look at their body and I'll scan it. And then there will be little red marks will be shown to me. Like, say, for instance, they're having issues with their lungs. I'll see, like, a little red mark in their lungs. Or I have a hard time breathing because I'm an empath. So as I'm giving the readings, I'm actually feeling it and I'm seeing the actual red mark in their chest, meaning they have lung issues. Like I'm having a hard time breathing right now. Anyways, but and then like say if they have something going on with their head, I'll see a red dot on their forehead. So it tells me that they're having issues with their head, they're having headaches, or that they need to get checked. And a lot of times I'll tell people, listen, I feel that you're having this going on. I can see it. I can scan your body. I can see there's an issue here, and that's exactly what I do. I offer this information, and then they actually say, well, yes, I've been having some back issues, or I've been having some stomach issues. And then they go get checked. And honestly, I've actually helped a few people that actually went and got checked, and they said, you saved my life, because there was some blockage in their stomach. So, yeah, sometimes I can see that stuff. It's amazing how that stuff comes through. But it is shown to me. And this has been going on for many years. So, yes, I can see things in people's bodies.
Wow. That's amazing that you can do that. I had no idea, Rick. I had no idea. What about when you go to a funeral and the person is laying there in the casket? I know that it's just the shell of a body, but is their spirit still there, and do they try to connect with you?
Okay. Only if I'm there to connect, I will connect. If I'm not there to connect, I'll just sit there and see the body. So that doesn't really, it's just a person there laying there dead. But if I'm there to, like, say, a cousin come over and said, please come to my aunt's and tell me if you see anything, then I am open to actually looking. So it's all about this privacy thing. It's like I cannot look unless I'm allowed to look.
Really? So
like psychic spying. And it's not nice, I guess.
Really? And so a spirit has never come to you and said, hey, I need your help. I want to connect with my loved one that's still alive on earth. I want to connect with them. No spirit has ever done that to you?
I don't have any connections like that. That's what's so interesting about my gift. I don't, like I said, I can't go anywhere and just connect with things unless I'm actually am supposed to do it. But it's the same thing. No spirits come to me. I mean, I get woke up a lot in the middle of the night. Maybe they are coming to me and I'm not seeing them. But let me explain something to you real quick.
Okay.
Whenever I was younger, before I got into paranormal, I'm a bad sleepwalker, and I used to have nightmares all the time from a very young child. When my mom used to hit me in the head with the Bible because she didn't know what was wrong with me. So what was going on was I was seeing these things outside all the time, or in the room. Like, for instance, I'd be looking over there and the TV would turn into a...
Uh-oh. We lost you.
The whole time. Huh?
Oh, you froze for a minute. You froze there for a minute, honey.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Continue.
But I kept seeing things outside all the way to older. Even with my wife now, I was actually seeing things. She would just smack me in the head and say, go to sleep. Because I would see, like, the clothes would turn into something. Or my picture of me and my wife would turn into something. And I didn't understand it until I got into paranormal. Once I got into paranormal, and that first door opened for me on the YouTube video that's got like 17,000 views, if you look at that video blew me away and opened my mind. And from that day forth, I stopped having nightmares. I stopped having sleepwalking and talking in my sleep. What was really going on was these were actually spirits and energies trying to connect with me, saying, Rick, wake up. Wake up. We're here to connect with you. You have this gift, but you're not paying attention to it. You're not understanding it. And once that paranormal opened that door, then I stopped having nightmares. I can't see those things anymore. They're not around because they don't need to be around. Wow. So it's interesting.
Oh, now what about those who commit suicide? Has any of them ever contacted you and wanted an explanation given to their loved one that's still alive as to why they did that?
Well, let me explain something. I went to an actual library. I do library events if people are interested in that. But I do library events, and I go there and I tell my story. and then I offer readings afterwards. And then this one young lady came to me, and she said, "Can you look at this picture?" And I looked at it, and instantly, I can see what's going on with the person. I seen he had head issues. In other words, he wasn't thinking right. He was depressed, wasn't thinking right. And I saw a gun, and I saw suicide. That's what came to me. Is I instantly saw suicide. That he took his life. And she was, she about fell to the ground because, I don't know who she is or who the person was. But that's exactly what it was. They found him in the woods like months later, and a gun next to his body. So, but they didn't know how he did it, if he did it or if somebody else did it. But I confirmed that actually he did it because I saw it.
Now, what about that Susan? Is it Susan? Was her name Susan Anthony that killed her little girl? And they found her body in the back of the it was like in the woods, and they found the body in the back of, I think it was the grandparents' house. Have you anybody ever ask you about what your thought was on that?
No, nobody, I'm trying to think about that. Is that the one that was really close to the house?
Yeah, the body was close. It was more or less.
Was it a back or something?
Yeah, it was more or less. It's because the backyard was like in woodsy.
Or guy cutting lines found her?
Well, it was a woodsy area, and oh God, I think her name was Susan Anthony. Viewers, can you help me? Yeah, Casey Anthony. It was Casey Anthony.
Yeah, I think that's whenever I was doing EVP work. I think. But yeah, all these cases were interesting to me, but at the time I didn't have the gift of sight. Okay, so all I had was a recorder, so I could record and try to get stuff, but I couldn't see things at that time. Now it's different. Now I can see things, and so I actually have it really. Honestly, whenever I do a missing person case, I actually put a lot of time in it. And it could be like 2 weeks to a month. In my book, I would actually put like 3 months in on some of those cases in there. And I'm telling you, every night I would offer something different or some more information to it. Mm-hmm. And if you put all the information, it was almost like a whole timeline of the story of what was going on. So, I just don't get everything in one night. I go back and concentrate, and then I get more stuff, and then I get more stuff. And then somebody has to put all those things together, and that's what they do. If you have somebody that you're working with, that actually is good, and actually will actually believe in you. That's how you ever heard of smiley face killers?
Oh yeah, that was a group of boys, right?
Well, it's actually a bunch of boys that are going missing. Okay, we go to a bar, and they would have some drinks with their friends, and then they would end up walking out and disappearing, and then they'd find them in the water, drowned.
Right, I did a show on that.
Yeah, well, I actually worked with people connected to those cases. That's actually in my second book, too.
Oh,
so,
you did.
Which is interesting, because what I would do is I would actually just read each individual that was missing, and the information that was coming through to me. This is the guy I was talking to you about that actually was interested, the professor that was interested in me, because I was offering all this information about these guys, and I've never seen any of them, never heard of any of them, but I was given direct details about each of the cases, even names, even direct names to their parents' names, their brothers' names, whatever, even their best friends' names, even the situation, who they hang out with, what was going on with the cases, and how I was actually seeing, there was a guy hypnotizing some of the people. They were actually hypnotizing these people. They were walking in the water and drowning themselves. No
way. Well, were the killers a group of young men, though?
Well, the thing is, I don't even think has that thing even been solved? I don't think it's even been solved, has it?
I don't think so. But I thought when we did that.
Book out there now. I think there's a book out there by the detective and the actual professor. There's a book out there that they wrote about the case, and there's other books out there about people writing the cases, about the smiley faces and what their theories were and stuff. But I think it was something connected to way old religion, way old religion. I think that's what it was. And what I was seeing, I think, was that all these people were actually marked from a young age. They were actually marked before, and whenever they got to a certain age, it seemed like they were actually taken. It was interesting.
Oh, really? That's very interesting. Now, yeah. Oh gosh, I had a question for you. Now I can't remember what it was. It was on a case. So, what are some of the famous cases? Have you worked on some famous cases?
Well, I've actually worked on some, but I didn't get no approval to actually write about them from the family because I didn't want to touch the family because I didn't want them being hurt. The stories are in there, and if you know the stories, you'll know I put a different name in there for the actual people. But definitely, I worked on the case for the young lady down in Louisiana that went disappearing, that they found her bike. And that's actually in my book. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Well, it was the young lady that they found, I think it was in Louisiana, and the guy in the white truck that ended up, he's the one that's where they found her with the 3 crosses that was at the graveyard. He actually, they finally found who he was, and then he actually took him to the actual gravesite where he actually finally ended up shooting her. So it wasn't a good thing.
Oh, God. Well, there are several cases that I did a show on, and one show is the Grimm sisters from Chicago, and it's never been solved. And the guest that I had was Ray Johnson, who was a detective, and he still, I think the case happened in like maybe in the 1950s, and he's still to this day trying to solve that case. And I asked him, I said, well, have you used psychics? And I think they did contact some psychics, but nothing ever came of it. And it's a case that they're still working today that they really want solved. So I think that will be one of the cases that I would like to ask you about.
Sure, just bring it up. Let me know.
And there was also the Keddy Resort murders that I've done several shows on the Keddy Resort murders, and it happened in Quincy, and that has never been solved. And that was from 1981. It's a bizarre, weird case. And so what I'll do with you then is I'll read you the case, and so the viewers have the background on it, and then I'll let you take over from there. How's that?
Don't give me any information. Just give me, the actual name of the actual person that's missing or whatever.
Oh man, but that's gonna be. But the funny thing is that will be really hard to do because the viewers won't know the case I'm talking about. So I do this with someone else, another show like this, and so what I do is I tell the case, and then the guest does her remote viewing.
Okay.
To see, but there are other cases that I would love to go over with you, but you saying I can't give you any information.
Well, see, the thing is, this is how it makes me more real, is because, say, that's why I said don't tell me anything till the show, and just offer a name, then I just give you all the information that comes to me. And I think that's more real than if you give me a name now, and because some people will say, well, he can go look it up, he can do this. This way I won't look nothing up and won't know anything.
Okay.
So people, they'll say, okay, well, now this guy is more real because, he didn't know anything about it at the beginning. And that's how I like it. Whenever somebody offers me a missing person, I just want their first name, and if they have a picture, that's all I need.
All right.
I don't need no other details because I don't need those details because the information is going to come to me. So it doesn't matter. So, but if you give me stuff, it clouds my images. I don't want any stuff given.
All right, then we'll do the reverse then. I'll give you a name. And then after you do your explanation and whatever you want to say, then I'll read the case. How's that?
That's perfect. That would be actually better. Then people can say, okay. And then they can see how I'm making the connections.
All right. Royce, let's take some questions. We have about 10 minutes left. So let's take a couple of questions from the viewers. I know a lot of them are interested in unsolved crime. And I would think it would be too much to ask you right now. Now, when you did that channeling show, what does it take for you to channel? Is this spontaneous, or do you need some time to do a channel?
It just happens. So, when you say channeling, though, I think there's some confusion here, though.
Okay, what is
channeling? When you keep talking to me about channeling, and explain to me what you mean by channeling.
Channeling means like Michael Jackson. you connect with Michael Jackson and he comes through to you and then you speak his words from the other side.
I can't do that.
Okay, so what do you refer to as channeling?
Well, I connect with their energy. I can connect with Michael Jackson. I can connect with stuff and give him. See, the thing, I give them, just like the loved ones, I give them stuff that only they know, or only Michael Jackson's family would know. That's what's being given to me from Michael Jackson. Okay, he would be giving me stuff that only his family would know, and that's how I connect with energy. So, and that's, for instance, let's say, like even with your missing person cases and stuff, there would be information that would be given to me that only the police department know, or the family that's connected to them. They're the only ones who will know the information. That's why I get validation, because I'm giving them something that only they know, and that's what's important. Okay. I'm giving them direct connect information to that past loved one or the actual person that's missing. Do you understand what I mean?
Okay, all right. I know there's
different handling. I don't have actually a spirit come through me and talk. No, that ain't how it works. I just connect with the energy of the person, and I see what they see, I feel what they feel, and I hear what they hear, and then I offer that information. And then that right there strikes people, because it's like, how did he know that? Because only she and I knew that.
Okay, so like what you're saying is, like if I said Robin Williams, what would come through to you?
So like that, instantly whenever you said Robin Williams, sick all the time, just constantly throwing up, anxiety. That's first thing that came to me, just anxiety, stress, and throwing up all the time. So that was the first thing that came to me. So, and I feel that was his inner self that's actually was being shown to me. So he had a major issue with anxiety.
Yeah. What about the Constantinos? I met the Constantinos some time ago, and I had them on my show, I think in 2010 or 2011. I had them on several times.
They're the EVP people, right?
Yeah, they're the ones that were on TV all the time, and yes. And I remember when we were doing the shows with them, they were doing EVPs day and night in their home, and I remember them telling me how afraid they were, and they were really getting afraid because of the responses and stuff they were getting in the house, and I guess things were happening, and then of course you know what the outcome was. They also somebody said that Mark was possessed. I have no idea.
Well, let me explain something to you about this.
Okay.
EVPs. In my first book, or maybe I think it's in my second book, I talk, or maybe in my first, I can't remember. But either way, I was up at my mother-in-law's, and I was doing some EVPs, just like normal, doing some EVPs. I went out in a camper, and I sat out there and I listened to these EVPs. Okay, I was getting these EVPs, direct connect information, and all of a sudden, I heard on the recorder, "Kill them." So I'm thinking, Then I heard "kill them" again. I heard "kill them" 5 times on that EVP, on that actual audio recorder. So there was something wanting me to go kill the family. So it's crazy, but that actually was information that was actually given from something. Was it negative? Was it a demon? I don't know, but all I know, it was saying "kill them," and it said it 5 times. Well, I turned the recorder out, and I shut it down, and then all of a sudden something jumped on the actual bed and was crawling up like a dead cat or something. It scared the crap out of me.
Wow.
So I ran in the house, jumped in the bed, and then the bed started trembling like really crazy. So I was honestly scared. I was really scared. So, but they can feed you all that information, and it's the way it sounds like to me that they were like really into EVPs. I mean, that was their whole life. So I got to a point where I was listening and I was getting 30 EVPs a minute. I was actually going crazy with EVPs.
Oh my God.
I'm going crazy. 30 EVPs a minute, and I'll tell you why. You ready
for
this? Because I had Bell palsy when I was younger, and it gave me a different hearing, a different frequency I can hear in this left ear than my right ear. I can hear at a 9-year-old's age in my left ear, In the right ear, I can hear at my 52-year-old or 51-year-old age. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
I hear the kids hearing in my left ear.
Wow.
So I can hear these extra low voices that people can't even hear. And that's amazing. I can hear this low frequency, and I can get information directly connected to cases, directly connected to houses that's on the recorder that nobody can hear but me.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. To the viewers, we're not going to talk about any cases. They're asking about the Day at Love Pass. I've done several shows on that. We're not going to ask Rick tonight about those cases because I am going to do another show with Rick. And we will talk about those cases on another show, okay? All right, we have a couple questions for you. Let's see. Oh, yeah, okay. Miami Ghost Chronicles. Norene, ask him if the cases he worked with involved the case killing. The Texas killing fields. About 30 bodies have been dumped there over the years. Do you know anything about that case?
Actually, I stopped working on cases a long time ago. I actually stopped working on it probably a good 6 years ago. Whenever I started seriously doing readings, I stopped working on the cases because they took too much time, a lot of time and energy out of me. So I stopped doing it, and a lot of times I wasn't getting information back. Only certain individuals would give me information back. So, I didn't know if I was connecting or not, and nobody was telling me, but they was taking the information. But as I would watch the news, I would see the information I was offering to these police departments was actually given to them, but they never gave me any credit for it. So so I kind of backed out. I was giving all that time and energy. Nobody was actually giving me any recognition that I was on target or out target. So.
Oh, they're missing out by doing that.
Well, definitely, because honestly, I feel I can offer a lot to a case or a situation. So. And the thing is I don't understand why nobody's coming to me right now. But like I said, I'm only on Facebook, and nobody really knows much about me.
Oh, well, they will now. April Fagan wants to know, has Rick ever come across a death or a view involving a cryptid or an alien?
Well, honestly, I have a lot of visions. Whenever I read people, I can see people actually was abducted by aliens. And in my readings, I actually offer them the information about the abduction, exactly what happened. And it's almost like I'm giving them exactly I'm reading their memories. And I'm telling you, they come back, and they're like, I can't believe it, because, honestly, I have been abducted. And I got all these memories and all this stuff, and you just actually, it's almost like you read my whole mind. So it's pretty interesting. But, I've seen a lot of connections to actually people being kidnapped and actually abducted, and actually see what happened to them during the abduction. So yeah, I've actually had some serious, some really interesting connection to that. And one day I was outside with my daughter, and my daughter said, "Dad, Mom said there's no such thing as aliens." And I said to her, "Yes, there is." And we're just looking up on the tramp. I said, "Yes, there is." And I'm telling you, instantly an actual alien ship appeared right in front of both of our eyes.
No
and
way.
I'm not joking. It appeared in both of our eyes. And I said to my daughter, "Do you see that?" She said, "Yes, I see that." And we both saw it, and it instantly disappeared. Boom.
Wow.
Smoke. So it was a confirmation for my daughter.
Wow, that's crazy. Rick, one of my mods, Unique Annie, she wants to know if you can do a past life regression on me. Past life for me. But I don't think you'd be able to do that right now anyway.
Well, actually, past life takes time.
Yeah.
Because I actually have to get in the mood. I actually relax and I actually concentrate. And I like to do a lot of my past lives. I've done them on the radio show. I have no issues doing that. But I actually like to do them more privately because I get more information. I can sit down, relax, and actually offer that information. And usually whenever I do a reading, I never let anybody talk because I actually just do the readings live, like live readings. I don't let people talk and give me information. I actually offer what I see, hear, and feel. And same with the past lives. I do the same thing. I give a lot of information. But, I like being alone. I don't like to be, a lot of other people's energy is around. But I like to actually just be alone with that person's energy just alone, and I get more information. More stronger information comes through.
Now, can you predict the future as well, or see into the future?
Well, let me explain something to you. I used to actually do um, vision future stuff on my website, and I actually quit doing that, and I'll tell you why. One year I did an actual reading, and I saw two actresses passing, one right after another. And one was Annette Funicello, and the other one was Karen Black.
No way.
Yeah, and I saw both of them passing, and very close to each other. I think it was like months apart or something. And I wrote that, even information, on my website, and I wrote it. And then all of a sudden, it happened exactly how I said. And then I posted on Facebook, and people came on to me and they said, "Man, you can't do that." I said, "You can't do that." I said, "You can't do that because they might think you're connected to that because you predicted this 3 months ago." Same with the Batman shooting. I predicted about Batman. I said, "There's something bad's going to happen with Batman. I keep seeing Batman every day. I posted that on my site too, and then boom, 3 months later, there was a Batman attack, where he went in the theater. So see, I see these things, and I was seeing future things. Even the hurricane that hit New York, I actually did that on a website, and that's still on ghostplace.com. You can go there and see the hurricane where I predicted what was going to happen to New York, the subways being flooded and everything. So it seems like it happens every 3 months after I see it. If I look, the thing is I don't look anymore because everybody told me not to look in the future.
Can you now that you're live on my show, can you give us any information?
Well, I honestly, the first thing that came to me was a serious flood. I keep seeing a serious flood, and I see cars just being wiped out. That's the first thing that just came to me about a serious flood and cars being just. I can see the cars actually flowing down.
Where?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. I see the things. It's kind of hard to tell. It's almost like either Missouri or Mississippi. So it's going to be something to do with the big flooding. I'm assuming there's a river there, the Mississippi River or Missouri River. I feel there's a connection there with some serious flooding this year. There's going to be some serious issues, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's happening in California as well. We're finally getting rains, and the ground can't handle it. We've got lots of floods, creeks overflowing, rivers.
Well, it's definitely, I can see the actual cars going down the river.
Yeah.
So it has to be strong enough to carry cars down.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because I like I said, I used to do a lot of that. And, a lot of the stuff I would post, and people told me just not to do that anymore because it's kind of scary.
But we like it. The viewers love it. We like it. Anytime you want to do that, we're happy to accept that. Anything that you have to say.
I can do a prediction show too. I have no problem doing it. I can actually sit down and we'll do a prediction show one night.
Okay. You know what, Rick? I've got lots of shows I want to do with you. If you want to come back, we'd love to have you come.
I told you I'd be a good guest.
I know. Oh my God, I would love to have you come back and do several shows with me. In fact, we can do a show with you every couple of months if you want to do it. I can set you up with that because we love unsolved murders and mysteries. We love it, viewers. Okay. So I would love to have you come back. Okay.
That would be wonderful. Definitely. I think it'd be awesome time. Just picking my brain.
I'd love to. All right, everybody. Rick, I want to. Now you can get readings from Rick, and let me show you his website again. Hold on. Here's his picture, and. Very excited. And Rick, thank you so much for being on the show. It was such a pleasure. Poor Rick, I've been saying, oh yes, I want you on the show, and I think started last year connecting, and I said, it's time. And thank you so much for coming on the show. I so appreciate. You're a lovely person, and I can't wait to have you back, Rick.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Happy 2017 to all of you all.
Absolutely.
And positive people. people. Stay positive. Turn the negative into positive, and you'll be fine.
Absolutely. And Rick, we will see you again. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Oh my gosh, wasn't that fun? That was great. Oh yes, I plan on having several shows with Rick, and I'm really excited because that's my favorite kind of show. Anyway, I got some awesome shows coming up for the next couple of months that I've got scheduled, and I can't wait to have them come on the show. Thanks everyone for joining me. It's been a long time. I'm sorry I took a big break. I really needed it, and but I'm back, and I thank you so much for your support. And let's try and get more people coming to the show. If you would share the show, if you see my posting, if you would share it, I'd really appreciate it. Please don't forget to subscribe and give the show a like as well. I love you guys, and thank you so much every week for joining me. I'm going to do some shout outs before we end. And thank you so much to our mods, Royce Hinman. Thank you, Royce. Royce isn't feeling well these days. Please send him positive energy and your love. Also, Sweet Annie, Unique Annie, and Crystal Triplet, my two favorite girls. Thank you so much for being here every week with me, along with Royce. I mean, my show really depends on you guys. Thank you so much. Jen L, everybody give your love and send positive thoughts to Jen L. Her sister has cancer. And again, also Jimmy C. Jimmy Cortez was in the show tonight. Jimmy, honey, I don't know if you're still there, but we love you and hope you are doing well. Everybody, thank you so much. Let's do some quick shout outs, okay? Let's see, Maria Hernandez, Andrew Cox, Bobby Merritt, Jay Alfred. Hi, Jay. Jay's now, I think, in acting school. Aren't you, Jay? He finally graduated. Jessica Luna, Tori M. May 666, Cherry K. Montalbano, April Fagan, Unique Annie. Yes, please pray for Royce. Para Princess Patricia, Chippa Terry. Oops, whoops. Hold on, guys. I'm really not good. Poof Baby 61, Joanne Dion, Starry Night, David Coffin, Joanne Gray, Carl White from the UK. I think it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. Thanks, Carl. Every time I have a show, Carl stays up late to watch the show. Thank you, Carl. Summer Sims, Zoe Small, BCH Bounds, Sandra Miller, the Tiger Jan, Mary Still, Janet Wolf, Nancy Soplavita, Ginger Simmons. Hi, Ginger. Christina Healy. Anybody else want to shout out? Stephen Harp. Hi, Stephen B. Davidson. Donella, Miss Ruth. Hi, Ruth. Ruth and I go way back. Anybody else want to shout out before we close for the evening? Yes, send prayers out to everyone who may need that. Oh, 3 a.m., Carl. Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, my God. I can't wait for you guys to... You know, I don't have my calendar handy, but oh, I've got some really good shows coming up. I am so excited. I have another guest coming from the UK, and he wrote a book, Into the Woods. And I'm sure you've heard about that. And he was so excited. He contacted me. He wanted to be on the show. He says he watches my show. So, oh, and I even forgot his name. Oh, isn't that terrible? I forgot his name. Anyway, I got some awesome stuff coming up. Jane Edwards, Janet Wolf, Life of Timmy, Try Not to Laugh. What's that? Tammy Sifford. Anybody else want to shout out? I'm going to, 7:30, the Warriors game, basketball Follow the warriors, love the warriors. Yeah, it's really amazing. People are now contacting me to come on the show. It's really nice to have it reversed. Donella Daywood, Ross Helia, Wendy Lepore. Anybody else want to shout out? Okay, everybody. Let me see. Okay, here I have it. Let's see, next week, next Thursday. No, Tammy, go Warriors. An EA coding. Well, this guy, somebody sent me his name, and Brian Edwards. Okay, The Life of Timmy. Shelley Phillips, Coyote S. All right, this guy that's coming on next week, he's a satanic person, and I found him very, very interesting, and I want to hear his story. I don't have all the information in front of me, but he's into the satanic, and I like football. I used to be into the 49ers, but the 49ers have really gone downhill. But yeah, we watch football. Basketball, though, is my favorite. Miami Ghost Chronicles. They were in earlier. I saw their name. They said something about doing a reading on me. LJ Ponsfield, thank you. I love you too. I love all you guys. Thank you so much. Angel Face. Anyway, so he's Keith Kada Moon. Anyway, he's really interesting, and I think you will enjoy it because I'm excited about having him on. And he is friends with, oh my God, the other satanic guy I had on. Oh, hi, Miami Ghost Chronicles. Oh my God, who was that? Winter Lake. They're friends. It's going to be a really interesting show. And then the last Thursday of this month, I have Rocky Elmore. And Rocky is a retired... one of those, the guys that guard the border. He was a border guard, and he wrote a book on things that he saw when he was guarding the border. Bigfoot, monsters, ghosts. I can't wait. It's going to be really exciting. And yes, guess what? Vanessa Hogel will do a monthly show with me on unsolved mysteries and her remote viewing on cases. Yes, it was winter, April. So she is coming back once a month. And I'm hoping to also get our guest that we just had, Rick Waid. I'm hoping to have him come back and do several shows as well. Absolutely awesome guests I've had. Oh, I missed somebody. Yvette Sanchez. All right, guys, I'm gonna go. I love you guys. Thank you so much for joining in. I had a great crowd tonight, even though I haven't been around for over I think it's been over a month. Thank you so much. Yes, Vanessa is coming back once a month. She's agreed to do a show with me. She is she's really busy. Elaine Michael, yes, she's very busy as well. So at least she agreed to do once a month with me, and I'm really excited because I love those shows. So everybody, yes, Dave Spinks is coming back with his team. David Weatherly is coming back with several shows with him. I am so excited. I have so many shows lined up. I'm so excited, guys. So everybody, I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thanks to the mods, everybody. Don't forget Royce, Annie, and Crystal. Thank them. They keep the show in line and everybody in line, and I love them. And I love all you guys. So everybody, I love you. Group hug. And have a great rest of the week and a great weekend. And Happy New Year to you all. I love you guys. I love you. Thank you so much. And good night, everyone. Thank you. Love you guys. Thanks. Hold on.